Okay, today we're working on section 5.4, which starts on 237. So 5.4, page 237. And our title is Multiplying Fractions. And this is essential question 1. Okay? The last couple lessons we've been working on adding and subtracting fractions. So now we're going to work on multiplying. I'm going to show you what it means to multiply fractions, and then I'm going to show you how to actually do the process. Your objective today is to multiply fractions. Okay? That will include mixed numbers as well. Okay, so let's start with a kind of easy example. Let's start with 1/4 times 3/5. Okay. Now, in math, we've learned before that that multiply means up. So really, what we want is 1/4 of 3/5 of something. So let's say that you had a box, and you had 3/5 of it. So let's divide it into 5 pieces. Okay. And you have 3 of those pieces. So that would be this, this, and this. You already own 3/5 of the box. Okay. Now, this multiply problem says that we want 1/4 of what you own. So that means that we have to take what we own, and we only want 1/4 of it now. Maybe you're going to take that 1/4 and give it to somebody. So you own 3/5, and you're going to give 1/4 of that part to somebody else. So we're going to have to take this and divide it into 4s. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you are going to give away 1/4 of what's shaded. That means you're going to give away this, this, and this. There's 4 pieces. You're going to give away 1/4. Now let's look at what this is overall. If you look at my current box, I have 4 pieces this way and 5 pieces this way. That means it's now divided into 20ths. So how much did you give away? You gave away 1/4 of your 3/5. You gave away 3, 1, 2, 3 20ths. Now look at how, that's the explanation of how it works, but look at what actually is happening with the numbers. You see, if you multiply the numerators, 1 times 3 is 3. 4 times 5 is 20. So when you multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators, what it does is it gives you a part of a part. Okay? And that tells you what piece of the whole thing you are actually giving away now. Okay. Let me show you a problem with a little more difficult numbers in that. Let's add a negative number in there. Let's do 7/10 times negative 4/21. Okay, first of all, let's just work with the numbers. 7 times 4 is 28. 10 times 21 is 210. Now let's think about the sign for a minute. We learned in the very first chapter of the book, when you work with numbers, if the signs are the same and you multiply them, your answer is positive. If the signs are different and you multiply them, your answer is negative. These signs are clearly different. This one's positive, this one's negative. So my final answer will be negative. You do always have to simplify too. So what's a number that goes into 28 and 210? I know 2 goes in there for sure, so we can at least start with 2. I would get 14 over 105. Looks like I could divide that by 2 again. I would get 7. Oops, sorry. That's not divisible by 2. My apologies. I could divide them both by 7, actually. 7 can go into 14 twice, and 7 goes in there 15 times. So my answer would be negative 2/15. Okay. Now the next thing is to do some multiplying with mixed numbers. So I'll show you how to go about that. Remember that your objective is to multiply fractions, and I told you before that we would also be doing multiplying mixed numbers. Let's do one like this. Let's do negative 2 3/4 times 3 1/5. The first thing I would do is to make them improper. So 4 times 2 is 8, plus 3 is 11/4, and that's negative. You should know how to make them improper because we've been practicing that for the last week or so. 3 times 5, 5 times 3 is 15, plus 1 is 16/5. And now I'm going to multiply the numerators. 11 times 16 should be 176. 4 times 5 should be 20. My answer is going to be negative because I have a negative times a positive. The signs are different. And now I have an improper fraction. It's top heavy, so I need to change that into a mixed number. How many times can 20 go into 176? It should be 8, negative 8. But that's only going to be 160, so I actually have 16 left over. So I have 16 20ths, and then I can simplify 16 20ths because they're both divisible by 4. 16 divided by 4 is 4. 20 divided by 4 is 5. So my final answer should be negative 8 4/5. Okay? Let's throw one in now that has variables in it. Okay? Once you put the variables in it, it makes it a little bit more difficult. Remember, our objective is still to multiply fractions. We're still going to be multiplying them. Let's do this one, m over 3 times negative 12/5. Okay, we still multiply the numerators. M times negative 12 will be negative 12m. 3 times 5 is 15. In the last chapter, we learned how to simplify these. I know that 3 can go into 12 and 15. 12 divided by 3 is 4. The m stays the same. 15 divided by 3 is 5. My final answer is negative 4m over 5. If you have any questions, you can write them down, and we'll go through a couple more examples tomorrow, and we'll go through your questions.